Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dream Oracle for You. I'm Sarah, your host. We have Biljana, our co-host, and a wonderful guest today, Georgina Grace, a queen of numerology. I'm so excited for today's episode. We have so much in store for you. So buckle up, enjoy today's show. It's going to be a fun ride. And this is episode 22, and I'm excited in a little bit to hear what Georgina has to say about episode 22. To kick things off first, Biljana, you want to say a couple words?
I'm excited too. So, I'm really excited to dive into numbers because I don't really have a lot of experience, to be honest, with numbers in my dreams. And I've only recently been kind of taking notice of numbers and things, repetitive things happening in my life. So, this is be really interesting to dig a little bit deeper and, think about these sorts of things, especially in your dreams. I suppose people would think, you have to see a number to for it to be in numbers, but if there's like a theme of like multiple things happening, that can be, a number cycle. So
Mm.
that's what I've been thinking about lately as well. So I'm really excited. I've watched a lot of your videos and interviews and that sort of thing, so it's been good. And I did see you at the Living Free Festival. I was there. So yeah.
Did you come into
And
the my crazy teepee? No.
no, I didn't get to. I was volunteering most of the time. But
Ah,
yeah, I did
yeah.
see you when you were like just kicking the footy with your son and yeah, your partner. So but yeah, I'm
Yes.
hoping to get over to Bendigo and attend the event there with you and Dale. So I'm pretty keen on that too.
Oh, that's so exciting. So exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll see how
Yay.
it goes because I'm moving at the moment. So, but it's kind of on the way to where I'm moving, so it's like perfect.
Oh,
But I just got to
great.
find, yeah. But I've got a dog, so I just got to find somewhere to put him for the day.
Mm. Yeah. Yes, I
So
hear you. Same thing.
Yeah.
yeah. So for people that don't know you, you can introduce however you like, who you are, what you do, your passions, your loves, your hates, everything. Go
Or
for it.
none.
Well, I was born in the spring of 1993. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Well, actually, I was born in the spring of 93. But so hello everyone, I'm Georgina Grace. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you both so much for inviting me on. And thank you for rescheduling with me a couple of times. One at least a time. There may have been a couple. I don't remember. But thank you so much. We've had all the things recently with the sickies and the green monsters coming out of noses and all of this. Um, so, of course, I am first and foremost a mama bear to my beautiful 3-year-old, just now 3. And he's just everything, absolutely everything. And my husband comes closely second, of course. Um, and then numerology, numbers are life for me. Oh my gosh, sorry. I didn't turn my computer on, do not disturb. Yeah, so numbers are life, numerology, and I am complete. Oh,
That's okay. She'll come back. It happens. Biljana just pops in and out. It's okay.
okay, cool. Yes, I am completely and utterly obsessed with this thing called numerology and numbers, and it's an obsession that I did not expect, and I didn't plan for, and I didn't prepare for. Was something numerology was something that very much grabbed me by the throat and pulled me in a certain direction. It's like, hey, you're coming with me. And yeah, so I'm very, very, very grateful. But as I was learning numerology for myself, I kept having a very strange experience, and where I'd sit with my teacher, and she'd be teaching me things, you know. She learned from a gentleman who learned from his grandfather, who learned from his grandfather. So this passed down knowledge. And, you know, I've still never read a book on numerology. I kind of don't want to, because I'm a little bit finicky when it comes to things like that. Anyway, so I'm learning with my teacher, and I keep saying out loud without even realizing I'm saying it. Ah, that's right. Like, this is something I already know, which it wasn't. It wasn't. Yes, in school I was like more maths and numbers were more comfortable for me, because I really enjoyed the finite nature of it. You know, it was like, as long as you know these formulas and you know what formulas solve certain questions, and you're going to get it like right every single time. It doesn't matter what your opinion of it is. It doesn't matter, you know, it's right. So I loved that about it. And, but numerology I'd never heard of, you know, and so, yeah, I just kept having this crazy experience of like remembering, like something had been switched on and I was remembering. And then by the time we'd gotten to the end of the process of her kind of teaching me everything that she knew, I was basically, you know, fluent in this brand new language that I had just learned, which was kind of shocking to both of us, because, you know, I was kind of telling her a bunch of stuff about numerology that, yeah, it was very strange. And she'd been practicing for 30 plus years, you know. So, and very, very, very quickly, I started to realize that I think maybe I have a quite a long soul connection to this thing called numerology and the language of numbers, because it's just something that somewhat overtakes me, and it just not overtakes me like I'm possessed by an entity. But just like, it's something that I'm very clear that my soul has been doing for a very, very, very long time. And I get a lot of feedback from people through readings or through the courses that they may have had readings before, but this is very different. This is not what's typical. And I find myself being quite anal with the numbers and how they're read and all of this stuff. So I'm very passionate about it, and I am on a bit of a mission because I believe that numbers and numerology it's honestly, it's such a ridiculously simple modality. And you know, if you understand and believe, you don't even need to believe, but if you understand that everything in this universe is actually energy, right? And because human beings, we live this perceived physical experience, we need a modality to navigate the energetics of the universe. And that modality is literally numbers, and it has been for the longest time. And before it was numbers, it was symbols. So anywhere where numbers exist or letters, you can understand the energetics of the universe. And it is the most, in my opinion, the most direct way to do so. That's why I believe it's like, if not the most ancient modality when it comes to understanding and deciphering the energetics of the universe. It's got to be one of the oldest, you know, because numbers and letters like literally create everything, you know. And so, you know, other modalities will take numbers, either your birth date, or they will take the numbers and then they will put it into something which will spit out results. And then we start to tell you about your energy, your blah, 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 blah. But we don't do that with numerology. We just go, you've got 5 energy. Let me tell you what this means. It's direct, you know. So I really believe that there's a reason behind why it has been, whilst it's one of the most ancient, most simple modalities, it's also the most uncommon. A lot of people don't know about it. It's kind of, people hear numbers and they go, oh my gosh, trauma, maths, which is interesting in itself. Like, why do they teach such convoluted maths in school? It's like I'm intentionally wanting people to never look at their own numbers because of the level of simplicity and how profound that information actually is. Um, so my mission is essentially so the numbers, I believe, have been a modality in which these, I hate calling them elites because it sounds, like a positive thing, and it's not. Do you know how they give like serial killers these like epic names, and you're like, but that person killed a lot of people. Why are you giving them like, these cool names? So
Yeah.
whoever those a-holes are, right? I really believe that they've specifically used the numbers, and you can see it playing out every single day in how they use numbers to actually, well, firstly, invert. So anything we've experienced of the numbers, aka the energy, has been an inversion of that energy, really up until now, and still very much so now. And so we've all been used to, the numbers have been used to program us and, manipulate us and suppress us because, when you were born, we have birth certificates, right? And all they want on your birth certificate is all the numbers, all of your numbers, the size, the weight, everything. They want your numbers. So, and then they use that information to literally understand how to specifically manipulate and program and traumatize and suppress and at a very large scale. So I'm on a mission to like not just take that back, but restore the numbers to their truest, fullest expression, and then put the numbers back in the hands of the individual. That is my mission because I believe numerology was created for the empowerment of sovereignty for the individual. When you can understand the truth of your own numerology, like this is everything, everything. And so I'm talking 500 miles an hour here, but I get me talking about numerology and I will not stop. So but very quickly before I will shut up and then let someone else talk, the power of numerology is such that we are all a soul consciousness, right? Like that is really who we are. And did you know that anything that you actually want to know about the soul consciousness that is incarnated into this physical reality, anything to do with that soul consciousness that you are, what it's here to do, its desire, its destiny, its purpose, the modality of that soul consciousness, the specific modality, how long it has signed up for being here, like all of that information is in a person's name that was given at birth, that their soul consciousness chose at birth. And then because we cannot exist in the physical reality as a soul consciousness entity, we need a vehicle that a very specific vehicle that very specifically navigates the physical reality in a very specific way. All of the information about your vehicle, what kind of fuel it needs, what kind of, whether it's a manual or an auto, all the information about that physical is the date of birth, So, and all the different ways that you can pull that date of birth apart and understand it. So it's crazy to me that people will go their whole lives being lost and confused and not know who they are, not know what they're here for. And yet actually that information has literally, you've had access to it since the day you were born. And that is how insane it is to me. That's how much it's like, what a gigantic, huge manipulation. Like this has been going on for a really long time. So anyway, I will shut up now and let someone else talk.
I can tell that our guests will be very, very happy, or our audience will be very happy to learn about numerology and dreams and all of how that goes together. So,
Ooh.
before we go into like actual questions, something that I noticed as I was prepping my notes for today is we were originally supposed to have this episode on February 22nd. Okay. This is episode 22 rescheduled. So what is it about 22 in this episode that's we're supposed to to follow through? What is the energy of 22 or 4, I guess, perhaps?
So the 22-4, that is one entity. So master numbers, this is the way I relate to master numbers. So we have what I call the human numbers, which are 1 to 9. And that's to explain what I mean by human numbers is essentially, human beings can only perceive a certain percentage of the color spectrum, for example. So the 1 to 9 numbers are like our color spectrum. That's what we can perceive, and that's what our physical, because the physical itself is a very dense vibration, right? This is the 1 to 9 numbers are the energy, the frequencies that this physical has very much has capacity to feel, express, et cetera, et cetera. The master numbers, I'm a bit nasally, sorry. The master numbers operate outside of that bandwidth, the frequency, outside of those human numbers. However, they have to draw upon, they have to use those human numbers to have the ability to exist here, of course. So it's not just 22 and it's not just 4, it's 22-4, because these entities are, that is one whole entity, and you just can't separate them because it is one. So the 2s, such a beautiful energy. So the 2 energy this is love. And the 22 is like the highest capacity for love. And what's really beautiful is that beautiful and very fascinating and interesting, I find, is that the 2 energy, we're in the 2020s now, right? But so the 2 energy being love, the most infinite, unconditional, pure love, right? It's connection, it's unity, it's togetherness, it's for thy neighbor. It's a very soft and beautiful feminine energy. And so we're in the 2020s, which means just by existing in the 2020s, the world is actually vibrating at a higher frequency, because the frequency of love is very high. And babies being born in the 2020s, just them existing, being a physical manifestation of this 2 energy, very, 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 very high frequency. However, this expression of love at this level has not existed abundantly in humanity since the 200s. So we have gone a very, very long time without this abundant expression of love being present. And so for a lot of us, until we came into the 2000s and even more so the 2020s, right? We actually haven't really known how to actually love. And so we're now learning that, like, people are actually learning about this thing called love. They're actually talking about it. People are now talking about feelings and using their feelings as a valid way to navigate the reality. Never in a million years would that be a thing in the 1900s. No one wanted to hear about your feelings. There was no space for it. We were under a 1 energy, which is a very masculine, like, not feminine energy. So we're now relearning and unlearning all things to do with love. So the fact that this is the 22nd episode, it's so beautiful, because that I call the 22-4s the love warriors. So these energies have the highest capacity for holding that which is not love, so that they can transmute that into love. And so for me, this episode being that energy is like, this is actually what's required for your audience, for the world, et cetera, like being reintroduced to the truth of what love actually is. And if you listen to this episode and things are highlighting for you where love exists for you, or where love is supposed to exist for you, whether it's within your own relationship with yourself or in areas of your life, like, this is what this The 22-4 wants us to be together and wants us to connect. The 4, so the 2s, they are the most softest, beautiful, loving, feminine energies. The 2s will love you to death, right? The 4, that's a feminine energy also, but this is a practical feminine energy. So the 4s will pick you up from the airport. They're going to come and cook you a meal when you're sick or unwell, or they'll clean, or they'll do you know what I mean? So that's why I call the 22-4s the love warriors. So in one episode, we are we are sending through the airways this beautiful expression of soft, supportive, unconditional love, where your listeners are just going to be like wrapped up and held and loved, and you're totally safe and all of this. But also, this episode, the 4 energy is going to give you some practical, like, this is what you can do, this is how you can do it, this is where to, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I love it so much. I tend to go on tangents when I get asked questions.
No worries.
That's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, I guess I'm also aware that a lot of people don't know anything about numerology, so I tend to always answer, I mean, that's an excuse because I generally take the long way round, and you know what I mean? So yes, I love that it's a 22-4. That it's a 22-4.
Amazing.
Yes.
Biljana, I asked that question. Do you want to kick us off with some dream-related questions?
Well, like I said before, like I don't have any specific dreams that I've like seen numbers, but the other night I had a dream. Well, it's 3 dreams, and I don't know which one when it started, finished, and the other one started. So as
Yeah.
our previous guest was talking about like Inception dreams, and if you've seen the movie Inception, like there's a dream within a dream within a dream. And
So cool.
that was really good how she explained it like that, because there were all 3 of them were happening all at once, but kind of simultaneous, like separately, but similar theme of like anxiety. So like worry and all that, So, but there was 4 people, like 4 brothers were, in the dream. So I don't know what that's about. Like 3 of them were definitely evil, bad people. The third one was like, or the fourth one was, I thought it was good, but then turned out to be just as bad as the other one. So yeah, that's that's the only experience really that I've kind of picked up on recently about my dreams. Yeah, do you have anything on that or?
Dreams are so fascinating because,
Yeah.
um, they're like the way that we get spoken to, you know what I mean? So and anything that comes through dreams can absolutely definitely tell you a lot of things about, I mean, obviously your whole podcast is about this, so I don't need to say this. Here I am coming in. I'm the expert. No. No, but it's very interesting because so people will, when it comes to dreams, people will either they will either get actual numbers through their dreams, or like it will show up in different ways. So you had 3 dreams, but there was 4 men or 4 brothers, So that's
Yeah.
interesting in itself, because I know, you're born on the 7th, and that is 7 energy there. So there's something about the 7 energy, right? That is, and the fact that the 3 and the 4, so that it's the 7 energy is like, this is a bit of a gateway energy. And so, it's literally like, how do I explain it? It's like you will not derive your entire belief system off one specific area of life, right? You are cherry picking from all of these other different directions, all of these belief systems. There's a bit over here, bit over there, you're on one hand very, very esoteric and spiritual and all of this stuff, but on the other hand, very scientific, very analytical, evidence-based, give me the research, you know what I mean? And so it's literally this gateway energy that can be between all of these worlds and actually formulate it in a way that can make sense to get. Does that make sense? And
Oh,
so
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Especially at
yeah,
the moment, like I'm battling with my head and my heart. So
yeah,
that could
yeah.
be,
And
yeah.
if you think about, sorry to speak over you, um, if you think about, there are 7 chakras, and the chakras themselves are the energy centers of our energetic body that are the gateways between our energetics and our physical body. So in that way, it's a gateway energy, right? There are 7 sisters, and the story of the 7 sisters is also about this gateway, and right? So so you had this 7 in your dream that was very subtle in behind the scenes, like no one would have necessarily picked up, oh, that's 7 there, right? Um, but that is also the 7 energy. The 7 is a behind the scenes energy. It's not necessarily an energy that wants to be the front man or be seen, or, this is the scientist that will spend, they'll be in the science lab alone, and that's like that's their safe place. That's what's comfortable for them. Or they'll be out in nature, alone in nature, and this is where the downloads happen. And so they're very much a behind the scenes energy. So even in your dream, that was being represented, how it was there, but it was in the background, you know.
Yeah.
The 3 energy is the channeler. The 4 energy is an earth grounded energy. And so you have 3 dreams. So interesting, gateway energy is coming through 3, which is the channeling through. So there's messages in this. And the 3 also, well, Tesla was obsessed with the 3, 6, and 9. He said, if you understand the truth of those 3 numbers, right, you unlock the truth of the actual universe. And the 3 part of that actually represents consciousness. The doing word of a 3 energy is channel. 3 energies are very creative energies, right? So creative people will talk about that channel as a creative flow, you know? So, so 3's being consciousness. Consciousness for me is truth, right? It is authenticity, and that's a very high vibration. So if you're getting that 3 energy through like 3 different dreams, then for me that's telling, and anxieties coming up around that. Something in your life, in your physical, the four brothers, right? And brothers meaning the masculine. So whether it's a masculine within you or masculine actually somewhere in your life, there's something in your physical world that isn't aligned with your highest truth. And that's why it had to be fragmented through 3 dreams for you to be able to get the message, so to speak, right? And when it shows up as anxiety, that's why it's like, it doesn't, it's like, this thing isn't
Yeah.
quite aligned, but doing something, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah. That's
so
awesome. That's such a great interpretation. And I didn't even have to give you much information. You're like, all of that.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here in awe and I'm like, okay, Sarah, you need to learn numerology because it's really going to help with dreams.
oh
Like,
my gosh, yeah, it's so like I could not know anything about any particular topic. It could be trading, it could be, I don't even know, like housing, what house to choose, like it could be a business I've never heard of before. It could be parenting your child. It could be, it doesn't matter that I could know nothing about the actual thing itself, but if numbers exist, I can tell you about the numbers. And because the numbers are so direct, so potent, and everything is energy, more often than not, it's on the money because it is literally the truth. You know what I mean? And so other ways that people will have a dream, wake up and see a time, you know. And then that time will tell, like, why did I wake up at 333 last night, or 1212, or what, that, like, the messages will come through the numbers in that way. So it's
Yeah,
very
that was
exciting.
another question I was going to ask. Like, because I've had recurring numbers, and yeah, so 6:47, like that's what, like I'll wake up and look at the time, and 6:47 just like always. I'm like, why? But yeah,
Well, you're probably asking why every day of your life. So
yeah,
about everything.
it'll come eventually. But yeah, Sarah,
Love
did
it.
you have any questions? Right? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at my notes here because I think like we're slowly touching on things that I've written down. One, I guess we'll just start here. So we're talking about numbers as symbols in dreams. So far we've talked about how, that can come through, like we had the number seven, it was three dreams, it was four brothers. You've mentioned how it could be when you wake up and the particular number there. So my question is, numbers can come through both implicitly and explicitly. So they can come and be like, right on, here's a number in your face. And I have an example where it was really weird. I was dreaming about Trump of all people, um, and for some reason he was offering tuition.
Oh,
And it was like, oh, I'll give you tuition, $200,000, but you have to give me a 3% interest rate or something along those lines. And I
mm,
still haven't quite decoded what that meant, but I thought that maybe tuition was a play on words as intuition, perhaps. But
mm,
yeah, so then I guess if you have like a number like 200,000, then that's a two energy that's coming through. And then the
mm.
3% is a three energy. Do you combine the numbers? Do you look at them separately? You know, I have so many questions I can go with this.
Yeah, yeah. So the way that I do and practice numerology is I will, there's everything that I know about it. And when I get asked questions, when I'm in a reading, I will actually throw it all out. I will throw it all out. And the reason why is because I'm a very, 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 very passionately strong believer of one size does not fit all, So there's not necessarily a formula for, yes, when that happens, you would combine the numbers and then you would do this and then you would do that and da da da. No, so being a life path 303, right? Threes are the channels of consciousness. It is just streaming through this three energy. And like a walkie-talkie I'm receiving from elsewhere. And so the zeros don't actually hold their own energy type, but what they do when you add more zeros behind a number, it magnifies that number. And on the other hand, the zero acts as a portal space, right? Like a womb, like a space for potential. So it can like kind of, you can also describe it like the blank in Scrabble, it can kind of be all these other things. But when there's like a 303 life path number, it's like the channel for that life path for the three energy. Anyone who has three energy, they have this channel. So both of you have a very strong channel that exists. It's not that you are it, or that it's separate from you. You are that. That is your energy center, if that makes sense, so to speak.
Yeah.
But 303, because of that zero magnifying, but also being in an open space, it's like the easiest way that I can explain it is like it's instant recall. So you'll ask a question and boom, like it's just, I don't have to think about it. I've just got to be like a zero space, like an open space for the information to flood through and come through. So yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, that's making sense. But 303, that was your number, so right? Or were you just using
Yeah,
it as an example?
no, yeah, so I'm a life
Okay.
path
Yeah.
here, 303.
Mhm.
Yes. So $200,000 and 3%. So Trump, the T in Trump is also a 2. And I'm pretty sure when you add Trump up,
Okay,
hang on
so
a second.
this is really cool. So this is what I was wondering. It's not Trump isn't representing Trump in itself. It's just there's numerology coded into the name or the letters or um,
Everything.
everything.
Yeah. 11. Sorry, I'm just adding this up.
Yep.
2, 9 is 11, 14, 18, 18 and 7 is what's that? 18 and
25?
25.
I don't know.
Is that
Well,
right?
7 and 8 is 15, right? So,
Yeah. Okay, cool. 25. So 25, 7. So isn't that interesting? Oh, that's interesting. So so Trump itself will add up to 25, 7. Now, what's really interesting is T is the first letter, that is 2. P is the last letter, and P is a 7. So there's 2 and 7 here. But he also, so it was the offer was $200,000 for your tuition, again, a 2, but 3% interest rate, and 2 and 3 is 5. So this 2, 5, 7 combination is coming up a lot. And so again, that 7 energy being the behind the scenes energy, meaning this is what you're getting up front. You're getting this 2 and you're getting this 3. It seems like a good deal, but guess what? There's actually something going on in the background here. There's more to the story here that you're not necessarily being privy to, if that makes sense. And so I'm going to give you something, but there's something in return. So that tells you right there. And the use of the 2 energy, this is as I said, we've been without this 2 energy for a very, very, very long time. And a lot of the work that I do, I have some ongoing clients. A lot of the work that I do is I talk about we all have these love baskets, right? And on the outside, that basket is labeled love. But if we actually looked at the contents of that basket, there's a lot of things inside of that that actually are not love, that we have been trained to believe is actually love. And so love is unconditional. Trump in that dream using the 2 energy to say, I'm going to give you only if you give back, that's conditional, right? So the fact that it came through to you in your dreams, that tells me Trump is playing a character in your dreams of some kind of an authority, someone who has power, someone who has an ability to give you something, or maybe there's perhaps someone in your life that is giving you something, and maybe it's presenting itself as love, but actually there's a condition to this love, and the 3 energy representing truth, right? Representing authenticity. The 3s are this very childlike energy. And so it's like an exchange. Feels a bit yucky, but the 2 energy is like, I'm giving you this love, but you've got to exchange with me your truth, your consciousness, what you're really here for. You know what I mean? You just happen to also be a 33-6, which is one of the highest master number frequencies that you can be. So it's like, actually, if there's anything that is wanted from you and your specific makeup, it would be your consciousness. It would be your level of consciousness. Like 33, that exists, Jesus Christ died at the age of 33. We've got 33 vertebrae in the human spine. There's the 33 level Freemason, right? And so they're attempting, they want to get to this level of consciousness, is why the 33. 33 is Christ consciousness, right? This is original creator consciousness. It's a 3 energy itself, a 303 like me. I'm a receiver. I receive from this frequency, this 33-6 that sits at a certain table. I don't sit at the table. 33 sixes, like you, sit at the table. So the fact that it's this person, this Trump, who's, currently the president of the United States, it's a pretty significant person that's coming to you in your dreams, wanting to make some kind of offer. And it's 3%. So it's literally, I'm giving you this, and you got to give me your 3 energy.
Mm.
But there's this 7 in the background with the Trump, there's that 7 energy is like the gateway. So your consciousness will be my gateway to what I need, and da 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 da. Does that make sense?
I think so. It's a lot to digest.
It's a lot to digest. Yes.
Your
And
brain's like this.
yeah, and the 5 energy that's in there as well, just to add more to your digestion process, is so the 2 and the 3 together is 5, which is very interesting because we're moving towards 2030 as well, right? And I think that Trump is going to be actually he's just a figurehead, right? He's actually not, pulling the actual strings, but his strings are being pulled. Anyway, but this character head there's lots of things that he is going to be perceived to see as being instrumental in certain things that will take place in 2030. 2, 3, which is also 5. 5 being the number of freedom. 5s represent freedom. Now, 5 is an energy that has been inverted so monumentally. Lots of wars have occurred under a 5 energy. So what a way to invert the energy of freedom to, we need your sons to fight for a war and kill other people in the world in the name of freedom. It's also a divide and conquer energy. You know what I mean? So very fascinating. That's a very fascinating dream, very layered.
And what's interesting is, and I don't know if this has anything to do with it, and maybe I should bring it up. There's a reason that I literally have a whole dream journal for that particular night of dreams. I had 3 dreams. The first one was about, the first one actually wasn't the one about the money and the tuition about Trump, but it was the second dream in the night that involved Trump. So I had 2 different dreams that involved Trump. The first one was actually an attempted assassination.
On him or on you?
On Trump.
Okay, by you?
No, I was kind of witnessing it. Now, what I did note when I was taking note of these dreams, and it kind of leads into another question. We talked about when you wake up, there's, a time that when you wake up and then that number can be important in coming through in that way. But what about the particular day that you receive the dream or you have the dream? So for this one, it was February 3, 2025, which the 2 for the 5th February, 3, the 3rd of February would also be a 5 coming through, perhaps. I don't know. I was trying to find my way through it. And then I did a weird thing, which I don't like, I know nothing about numerology. I'm learning it all tonight with you.
Yay.
But I had added up the numbers. So I had added up 2, 3, and then 20. Sorry, what did I do? I had just added up the numbers of the year. So 2025 would have been 9. And then I had February be 2 and the 3rd of February, which would have been 5 and 9 was what I had done.
Yeah.
Don't know what it means.
14.
Okay.
No,
14.
which is 14, which is 5, right?
Right, yeah.
So what is Trump seemingly standing for, right? Ultimately, he's trying to, underneath, it's like the freedom. He's real in all of the things that he's doing and he's releasing and he's signing. It's about he's saying it's about freedom, freedom for health, freedom for blah, 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 all of these different things. Now, he's not specifically saying that, but that's essentially, there's a lot of things that he's freeing, like information is bringing free and da, 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 all of this. So, however, what they always invert that 5 energy, always. And the fact that you're getting the 5 energy come through in a dream that was the second dream, 5 and 2 again is 7. He's a 25, Trump is a 25/7, like that word, right? And also, the dream was about an attempted assassination. Now, what's really fascinating is that earlier this year, I released a podcast that was a total shit show because I was attempting to
I
break down.
saw that whole thing. Was that where you had your power go out and
The
everything was
power
crazy?
went out and
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
internet went out, and it was just, I was like, do I even release this thing? Because it's
Yes.
just an absolute shit show, but I did it anyway because I was like, "Nah, nah, nah," I did it, and I'm still a little bit like, do I take it down? I don't know. Anyway,
Leave
um,
it. It was meant to come out. You were being stopped or tried. They were
It
trying to
was
stop
it
you.
was so wild, wasn't it? It was
Yeah.
so crazy. Anyway, so it was in that episode that I was like, if anything along those lines of assassination and da 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 da, it's going to happen in May. Something major is going to happen in May,
Okay, so
which is
that's interesting because when I was trying to decode this dream, and the Trump assassination was the third dream I had that night, by the way.
oh,
3 of 4. But I was decoding it down and I was like, something is going to happen in May. It's assassination, something with Trump. And I was trying to figure out numbers and just pulling the numbers through all the, where it was coming through in the dream. So
yeah.
sorry, I cut you off, but
No, 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 no. Please, please. I'm constantly cutting people off. I mean, this is what 3 energies do. We just get, oh my God, you said something. I'm so excited. Let me say something about that, but you're still talking.
well, because if we don't interject, if somebody keeps on talking, then you miss the point, you miss the opportunity, and there's like 10 things have happened since then.
I know. And then you're like, well, I can't go back.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna inject here. I'm gonna
Yes,
stop you.
yes, exactly, exactly. It's so good. And I love that because I'll just go. I'll just, I
So you're
don't know why.
telling
I
us
do
to
have a
interrupt
question.
you. Oh, good.
Yes, please,
Billy.
Yes,
please interrupt. Yes.
I was going to say, do you have a dream that you could share and like it's got numbers in it, or any dream that you want to share that you can think off the top of your head?
I have a dream. Um, you probably get that a lot. Anyway, so I have to think about that. That's good. But I will circle back around and first
Yeah,
talk about the May thing, and then I
yeah.
may bring up dream, a dream. Anyway,
Or
I'll
even
get back.
just if you have a dream journal or whatever. But yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Let's.
um, so yes, the Trump thing in May, it's very interesting because there's, I can't obviously say for certain it's specifically going to be an assassination attempt or, you know what I mean? But something has got to go down in that month of May because this year being a 9 energy year, which is, it means that the energetics behind the month. So usually there'll be the month of May will be, it can be like a 4 energy month, right? So the energetics don't always line up with the number of the month that it is. And so it's very rare that this happens. But this year is a year where every month, the number of the month lines up with the energetics of the month also. So getting kind of this double whammy energy with this 5 energy, and we're also under 2025, right? So
2025 is 9. If May
2025 is,
and if May is 4 and also 5, then that's 9 as well. Just so I'm following.
so May is a 5 energy month.
Right, but you said that you said that May is normally a 4.
No. So it can in no. So for example, last year, because of the way that you calculated the numbers and everything. So last year was an 8 energy year. May is the fifth month. So last year May was a 4 energy.
Oh,
The
it
year
was last year.
before,
Okay.
yeah, the year before May would have been a 3 energy, 2 like that, right?
Gotcha.
So yes, so this year, however, May is also a 5 energy. So we have the 5 in May, we have the energy of May, which is 5, and then we're in 2025. So lots of this 5 energy. And what's happening at the moment, which I think is very interesting, it's seemingly really, really, really good. Like a lot of the things that Trump is doing, he's releasing, is signing, all the health things, the tariff things, all the, the information and all of the things that he's doing are seemingly good. And there's a lot of people in like the awake and aware community that are like, oh my gosh, yes, it's all happening, it's coming out, and blah, 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 all of this stuff. And, you know, as I said, it's seemingly good. However, when you come off like a 30-day water fast, right, you need time. You don't want to go straight to heavy lasagnas, right? You've got to like slowly integrate back into eating solid foods. You might start with brothy soups and da 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 da, right? We've been essentially fasting for like 5 years, a lot longer than that, but intensely for like 5 years. All of the seemingly good things that Trump is doing is like he's taking us straight to the heavy lasagnas, and so just like a fast, any progress you made just goes backwards, because you're not actually honoring the process that you just went through and giving yourself time to process and integrate and da 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 da. So the pendulum is swinging very extremely, and that's why with that energy of May, like lots of things are going to be coming at us, boom, 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 boom. Then May, it's like, hang on a second, none of that is sustainable. None of that is going to, it's not maintainable. So there's going to be, just like anything, there's going to be some kind of collapse or breaking down or like bursting at the seams type kind of energy. And it will also be because of that 5 energy, they use it to divide and conquer. It'll be like a very obvious opportunity to take one extreme side or the other. You think about what they do with war, it's like one extreme side or the other. And an assassination attempt makes so much sense because they're really hamming up the Christian and, but if there's an assassination attempt, I wonder what religion that may be. And then we may have a big religious war on our hands. And you know what I mean? So there's so much that could really go down. I just find it absolutely fascinating that this is coming through your dreams.
Okay, now tell me why it's fascinating. Because I was just like, well, that was weird. And it was, I don't know if telling you more will help things come through for you, but um I was like observing it. I wasn't like an active participant in the dream. I was
Yeah.
observing it.
Yes.
And Kamala Harris was also there. I don't know if that's important. Um, she came
She's
out.
wild. I attempted to look up her numbers and she has like, I found 3 different birth dates for her.
Well, that's
How bizarre is
interesting.
that?
That
Yeah,
is,
because we were leading into the elections in November last year, and people were like, who's going to win? Da, da, da. And I was like, I'll tell you who's win. Let me look at their numbers.
and you're like, I can't find her numbers.
I couldn't find her numbers, but I worked out that Trump was under a 1 year in 2024, and the month of the election was like a 1 energy or something like this. And so it was just so anytime someone's under a 1 year, so I have a cousin who was also playing football that year at a fairly high level, and he was under a 1 energy that year. And I was like, he's going to win. His team's going to win the grand final. And I was saying this at the beginning of the year. And there was no like, you can't, you know. Um, and of course, he went through and he won the grand final, and so under a 1 energy, people just win. That's what the 1 energy. That's why when you win a race, you get the number 1 ribbon, or, you know, you stand on the one platform, people come first under a one energy. So I was like, I don't even like, it's so easy and straightforward. There's no question. It's like he's going to win. It's easy. And understanding that for me is really powerful because it takes me out of the energetic anticipation. Like I'm not then going, ooh, who's going to win? And this is all energy harvesting. This is how they do it. Just the fact that Kamala has 3 different birth dates in itself, this is confusion, this is unclarity, this is like, okay, that's just not even going to happen. That's just, there's no clear path here, you know? So that just tells me just distraction, just a more of a like suction for people, you know? Because you've got to have 2 sides. So I don't know why I went on that tangent.
Oh, because I brought up, I said Kalma was in my dream. So she came out on stage. Again, I'm observing this, and there's like a mini explosion,
Mm,
and Trump like falls down. Then he gets
mhm.
up, of course, raises his fist in the air as he's known to do.
Yeah.
And half his face was missing, and he didn't miss a beat. He was just like, it was as if his whole face was still there, but it was missing in the dream. And I remember while I was observing in the dream, I had the thought, I'm like, well, this is fake. This isn't real. That's not the real Trump. So,
No, that's good because that's exposure, you know, like exposing his face, his real face. And
mm,
yeah, there's a good chance that is there a real Trump, or is this literally like just a robot, or who knows what is going on there? Like getting back up and having half his face, you know, shot off sounds very Terminator-ish to me, which is robotic and, you know, with a skin suit on top. But it's interesting to me that it's coming through your dream specifically because your life path is a 33-6. And as I said, this is literally Christ level consciousness. So you would receive um, a lot of information through your dreams. And the fact that you're observing as well, it's not it's like you're in a theater and this is being shown to you as, you know, so that's very interesting because the 33-6s are like, this is so freaking ridiculous. Like they're the most powerful manifestors, but of course, because the 33-6 is also this very high level consciousness, it's like, oh, I sound like a loony when I say this kind of stuff, but um, master numbers are energies that they all have the same intention. They want to bring about this reality to humanity. They're like high level angelic energies, angelic souls that are here. They come here to help aid humanity through a transition, right? And so the transition being they want to bring about a reality of you know, some people call it heaven on earth. Some people call it the golden age, Aquarian age, the 5th dimension, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Love essentially abundantly for everyone. And we are for thy neighbor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the way that the 33-6s go about that intention is by literally just manifesting that reality. And this is why I call them the original creator consciousness, right? 6 energy being divine creation, feminine energy, divine feminine energy. And anytime something is created divinely, what's wrapped up right there immediately is responsibility, is protectiveness, right? When a mother gives birth to a baby, yes, she loves that thing, but the biggest feeling that's there is the need to protect this insane, intimidating level responsibility for this new thing. So anything that's created divinely is always, so it's 6s are divine feminine, but um, it's creation and responsibility of creation. And so now we have the 3 consciousness, we have the 6 in this 369 combination. It's the consciousness that creates divinely, right? And so a 303, like me, I receive information. I'm a channel for the information to come through, but the information is coming from the 33-6.
So
Because
we
you,
complement each other.
well, yeah, and if you think about what's happening in this conversation, you have the information and I'm the messenger letting you know what that information actually means. That's literally, do you see? I won't necessarily have dreams like this, but um, in saying that, I have had a couple weird ones. Um, yeah, so does that kind of make sense? That's why it's very interesting that it's actually
Yeah, it's
into your dreams. And yeah, I think if you really harness that, you'll start having things come through outside of your dreams because your life is a dream, essentially, being a 33-6.
that explains a lot. On our last episode, we've talked about the idea that your dreams are actually lived experiences of fractals of your consciousness, basically, and other timelines, lifetimes, that sort of thing. And there's times that I
Yeah,
definitely feel that I wake up from a dream. I was like, oh, I traveled over there today.
yeah, yeah. And it's this is so cool because I call it time zones. I call these things time zones because I don't necessarily believe in time as a linear concept,
Of
you know?
course, yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
construct of 3D world we're in.
Yeah, and so our soul's consciousness will incarnate into multiple different time zones, timelines, into multiple different realities. But we talk about past lives and regressions and all of this kind of stuff. But actually, what I believe is that no, it's not in the past. There's no regressing. Actually, what's happening is that you are just literally going to a different time zone and there's a version of you that exists in a different time zone. So this is I do a lot of with my clients. I do a lot of focus on child part healing. I call it child part healing because there are parts of you, child parts of you, existing in certain time zones that are still experiencing certain experiences that we need to release from that. And that's when we integrate ourselves and are connected with ourselves. So anyway, it's fascinating because we actually deal with this on a daily basis and we don't bat an eyelid. Like right now in this conversation, Sarah, you're technically in the past.
Yeah,
You have not experienced the day yet, that we have experienced. Like there are events that have occurred in the world that haven't occurred for you because you're technically in the past.
you mean just
Isn't
because of our time zone, or are you talking like higher level than that?
Yeah, literally like our time zone. And
Right.
but we're in the same reality. Like this is happening in the here and now moment, but you're
It's like
technically,
tomorrow morning for you guys. For like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. Which is like when you really think about that, that's wild. And so there are so many different parts or fractals of ourselves that are actively existing in other time zones. And this is part of the reason why when we get triggered by something, it's now, because it's not like in the past. Otherwise, we wouldn't get triggered until like weeks later, No, we get triggered right now because it's like, um, you get a trigger on your phone to take a certain action. You know what I mean? Like it'll be like a reminder or something, and it triggers you right now. So I could pick up the phone, send you a message, you get triggered, like, oh, there's a notification going through time zones and it's happening right now. So yeah, anyway, going off on a tangent again. But dreams are a way to bridge that time zone reality.
Hmm.
And that's why these messages are so powerful that they're coming through you as well, because that's 33 sixes don't necessarily, like you may have a challenge in your life with time itself.
In what way? I
Like,
I had this weekend, or sorry, on Wednesday, I knew that I had a bunch of dreams. I don't remember them. But I woke up and I was like, I can sleep in this morning. I'm gonna go back to bed. It's Saturday. Everything's great. And I go and I lay back in bed and I'm like all cozy. I was like, it's Wednesday. I gotta get up and go to work. Like,
yeah,
so I until you just said that, that's the only reminder that I've had time, like issues with time. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, like I don't like getting like it's a thing. It's probably something that you've had to learn throughout your life to get yourself in a routine of getting somewhere by a certain time. And like the whole relationship with time itself would be like this, oh my gosh, like what is this thing? It feels like a restriction and locking you down for a time. You know what I mean? Like all of these kind of like the whole concept of time for you would be very confusing given sorry, because I'm sitting in a funny way and my foot's going numb. Um, would be like it's a something that you probably had to learn through your human experience. Some people will just go, oh yeah, that's the time and whatever. They're like, oh my God, why is it at that time? And what is that time? And do you know
And
what I mean?
I've
Yeah.
noticed that maybe it's something that I've learned over time, but I can even remember as a kid that I'm good at predicting time. So, like how long something has gone past or whatever. Or like, we're in a car and I'm like, oh, we'll get there at this particular time. And then it's usually like right on the time. Or like, don't have a clock anywhere near. And I'm like, oh, what time is it? It's probably like 4:30. And I'll be within like a couple minutes of the time.
So good. And the reason why that, because this is what I've noticed is people that I've worked with who have this 33-6 strain. Strain.
Strain. Strain in numerology.
Is that they actually have an incredible relationship already with numbers without recognizing it, because actually it is truth, it is consciousness. And so these are the symbols that help us to navigate and understand that. So when you're doing stuff like that, actually you're reading the energetics of something and you're also understanding the symbols that those energetics mean. So we'll get there at a certain time. You're not necessarily factoring in the physical distance and the physical, it's like there's an energetic gap or bubble from here to here, and you're then, does that make like,
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. It really
isn't
does.
that wild? And you're like picking up on naturally the time, but actually what you're picking up on is the energy
Energy.
that you're actually, like if it was a spotlight over you, you're picking up on, oh, this is the spotlight that we're specifically under in this moment, you know?
Interesting. Very interesting.
So
Yeah,
juicy.
cool. I, I
Okay.
I wanted to add like on like how we think of time, and I brought this up like several episodes with Sarah and just chatting, but like think of them like as loops, like you're just in like your own loop, um, and you'll have maybe the same people in that loop, but your life will be different depending on your choices that you make. So they're going off in different timelines. And I think that's where like premonitions and like deja vu can also be connected with that as well, because you're tapping into all those timelines simultaneously all the time. And yeah, so I always talk about it because it's just because I have deja vu like all the time, whether it's something I've thought about, like today I'll think about something and it'll happen tomorrow, or I've
Mm,
dreamt about it and I've felt like
mm,
just every single detail is the exact same. So that's why I always think that, yeah, it's not just a straight line or
mm.
the timelines are stacked on top of each other, however you think about it, but it's not just start to finish kind of thing. You're
No,
born, then you die. It's
no.
maybe a loop or something. Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool. It's so fascinating. And that, when you bring like, because you are born on the 7th, right? And you're a 35-8 life path number. What is an eight?
I felt like I
That
have
is
notes on that somewhere.
A loop. It's a loop.
Oh yeah, it's
literally a loop.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
literally a loop. So you are understanding the world literally through that. So when you get a 7 energy and an 8 together, and this is so delicious because the 7 is like, this is the esoteric, this is the, oh my gosh, I'm understanding the movements of the whole universe. And sevens are, a lot of the time they're a gateway energy because they are actually, they're the intelligence of all of the numbers. They're so freaking intelligent, but it's an intelligence that is much beyond, they're always steps ahead. And so we spoke about Dale Holmes in the beginning at some point or other. He's a 34/7 life path number. And so I don't know about you, but when I've listened to him, I have learned about all of these other things, people, ideas that I'd never considered before, that he was the gateway for me to learn about them. But he's always speaking about things not right now, but ahead, like this is what's coming, or this is, you know what I mean? So this is the 7 energy. They're always steps ahead. And you've probably had an experience in your life of just being so misunderstood, constantly misunderstood by everybody. People think you're crazy, or you've had to dumb yourself down to have conversations with people in the here and now because, yeah, because actually think about what this 7 energy is: gateway energy, 7 chakras, right? 7 sisters. This is such an intelligent energy. They are obsessed with knowing things. They love knowing things, but they will know ahead of time. And so your brain, your mind, you are existing in a future time, right? 7s and 33/6s always get along so well because it's like the two of you can, like the 33/6 is like, well, I know and see everything because I I created this entire construct via literally just my manifestation ability in my consciousness. That's why it's original creator, 33, consciousness, 6, creation, right? And the 7 energy is the intelligence behind it, so a 3 will pluck things from nowhere that will be right on the money. But the 3 energy will have no idea where I got that information. The 7 energy will be right behind it. 7s are a behind the scenes energy going, oh, well, here's the evidence for that. And this is why that, and this is why that, and this is why that, and da, 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 da. But because the 7 is like always steps ahead, their brain is in this future place, right? But reality is over here. So it's like, it's not necessarily dumbing yourself down, but actually you've got to then use words that make sense to the current state of affairs in the current reality. It's like that experience of when we were going through COVID and people were wearing masks or they were getting vaccinated or whatever. And you're like, how do you not see what's going on? And you feel insane. And there's certain people you can't talk to because it's just like, you just don't see it. But that's a 7 energy's whole life experience. It's like, how are you not seeing this?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I get that.
Yeah, like that's your whole life.
Biljana.
I think that's why Sarah and I get along so well. Like we have different jobs and we haven't really assigned ourselves jobs like with this podcast. We've kind of just like been drawn to doing certain things and works out awesome,
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. And, Sarah's born on the 1st, which is, I'm happy to go first. I'm happy to be seen. I'm happy to, take the lead and go, all this kind of stuff. Your 7 energy is like, great, that works perfect for me. I'll do the behind the scenes stuff. I'll get the information that you need for you to do the things ahead. Do you know? Like it's
100%.
That's us. That's us in a nutshell.
Basically, and I was gonna bring up about the 7, like kind of tapping into like a little bit of the future or like, having that foresight, I guess you would. Biljana, how many times have we been on a call and you'll say something and I was like, that was just in my head, and it's like you're literally pulling it out of my head.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's awesome because you also have that 3 channeling ability, right? And so it's just, so 3s will literally pick up on the consciousness around them, aka read minds, right? And this is why you go into a cafe and you'll be hit with the wall of consciousness that's going on in that cafe. And it'll either be, I feel safe here, feels good, it feels comfortable, or it'll be like, whoa, no, 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 no. And this will also be the case with anyone you meet, anyone you interact with. You'll either get hit with a wall of consciousness from them that either is representative of their soul's consciousness or not. And when you pick up on when it's not, it can either be very subtle, like, I don't know, it was just something. I don't know what it is, something. Or it'll literally be like a brick wall and it'll be intoxicating, like heavy, strong perfume. Like I actually can't be around that person with how much of a mismatch it is. And yeah, it's literally that 3 energy. So you're literally, and because you spend so much time together, you're just like literally plucking things from the same kind of consciousness, the same cloud,
It's like, here, Sarah, take it. Take it.
Awesome. Thank you, Biljana.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love it. But, without the, Biljana, your 8 energy, this is abundance, but this is organization, this is structure, this is like, like we're going to do, it's efficiency, it's, so it's like super intelligent, but then the life path number is like, it's intelligence that applies in a way that I can make life easy and efficient and da, 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 da. Do you know what I mean? But yes, the loop. So what goes around comes around, what goes around comes around. And this is like, you just operate in this because this is literally your energy type. So I love that that's what you talk about the most. So your 7 energy is going, time is not linear. It is a loop that goes around and comes around, and what you put in on this side of the loop will show up on that side of the loop, and it will go back and forth and back. The 8 energy is a dream within a dream within a dream. Like that is that 8 energy. It is abundance in that way, and a dream within a dream. That is abundant dream in itself.
Yeah, wow. You've just like put all these layers on top, and it's so good. Thank you.
Oh, guess so well. I could talk for days about this. 4 days.
Amazing. Okay, I definitely want to bring it back to dreams, but I also
Yes. Don't know
but
where
I,
to start.
sorry.
So I'll tell you about a dream and you tell me what you think it is, because we're
Absolutely.
all decoding my own dreams is not as easy as decoding someone else's. Of course. That's why I have a therapist. Wouldn't it be so great if I could be my own therapist? Anyway.
That's what dreams are.
They are therapy, yes. So it's so wild, but I've been having a certain person reoccur in my dreams, and the person is Justin Bieber, of all people. So bizarre. But the first dream that I had with Justin Bieber in it that I can remember was it was young Justin Bieber, young Justin Bieber, maybe 11. That number is interesting in itself. And we were in a hotel that was like a skyscraper hotel, and he was out of his mind, panicked and terrified. And I was like comforting him in some way. And I don't know if there's any numbers in this other than him being around the age of 11. Anyway, so I was comforting him, and there was like security detail around outside of the room, but we were just in this room, and we go out to the balcony and there's a mob of angry people at the underneath. And Justin Bieber is he's so panicked, he's so out of his mind. And he's like climbing up to the edge of this. I had to go and check something out, and I said I'd be right back. And when I came back, he was standing on the edge about to jump off. And then through the process of the dream, I actually saved him. I actually got him off the ledge and brought him in, and then just like kind of comforted the heck out of him. So, and then that was basically the dream. And then I've had another dream again with Justin Bieber, but I can't fully remember it. But it was along the same kind of lines where he was really, really, really not in a good way. And I'm there in some kind of support. I don't know. So I don't know what the heck this means. I don't know why it's Justin Bieber. But interestingly enough, maybe because I've been talking about it, but I don't really talk about him that much. But now he's been showing up on my feeds of like, oh, he doesn't look like he's doing too well. And you know what I mean? Like he's looking really depressed, really like, I don't know, gaunt and not good. So I'm like, what does this mean? I've never met him before in my life, I don't think. I've got no connection with him. You know, like why is he showing up in my freaking dreams? I don't know.
Physically, you haven't met him, but in another way, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, Biljana. I'm glad you're getting a little nudge on that too. For me, it's that you've known each other, you know each other on a soul level. So you've known each other, obviously not in this lifetime, but a past lifetime. That came through for me.
So you think it is like Justin Bieber is his soul consciousness is actually coming to my dreams? Because some people have said maybe he's, you know, because some people say that in your dreams you are all the people in your dreams. It's your consciousness. So
Right.
is he like a version of me or you know, but you're getting that no, it's actually Justin Bieber's consciousness that's coming to me.
That's what's coming through for me. Yeah. Yeah. I know it's weird, but I mean, I mean, I haven't fully decoded it, but I've had Elon Musk in my dreams. I've had, well, I've had Trump in my dream too, and I've had Katy Perry once. That was interesting, and I actually saved Katy Perry in my dream, which is really interesting.
Yeah, that's
Um,
really interesting.
so I'm having things come through right now, and I don't know if it has anything to do with your dream per se, or it's just kind of a reflection. So, there's a lot of stuff going down with Hollywood,
Yeah.
as we all know.
Yeah.
And, as much as the collective conscious has been, or the collective of human beings have been manipulated for millennia or whatnot, Hollywood is like a whole other ball game because I genuinely believe there are genuine people in Hollywood, but then there are also puppets in Hollywood that are then controlling the genuines, and it's this whole mess. Um,
Yeah. I think a lot of them are victims as well.
no, that's what I mean. So the genuine
Yeah.
ones are the ones that are victims, and so I'm getting a sense that Justin Bieber is one of those.
Mm.
Um, and that's about as much information that's coming through with that. But you know, through the work that Biljana and I do through both the dream space and also through Lay Love Down as well, talking about intention and being able to, you know, uh, do so much good in the world just with your intention and positive intent and, energetics and healing and all of this sort of thing. There's a lot of healing that needs to happen. And
Hmm.
in the dream, connected to the dream space, there's a lot of healing that can happen in the dream space. So
Mm.
with you connecting, and this is coming through now, with you having Justin Bieber come through your dream, his soul is a soul in this lifetime that needs healing because of all the trauma and stuff that's been going
Yeah.
on. And I'm getting that you have a past connection to him at a soul level. So it could be that you're either he's coming to you in your dream or you're actually traveling to him and
Mm.
somehow doing some sort of energetic healing.
Yeah, that's really interesting because growing up, I was pretty young when he was like big, you know, when he first came out and everything. And I didn't know who he was. I didn't really care much about him for a long period of time. But then after maybe leading up to this dream or after this dream, I don't know. But now I actually like there's something there. I'm like, whoa, I feel a heaviness and I feel something. I'm feeling quite like, oh no, like something's not right, something bad's going to happen. And there's a concern, like a worry that I'm having about him or his life or what's got, like, I don't know. It's very, very
The
interesting. And
heaviness, did the heaviness come after the dream or before the dream?
more so after the dream, like the
Yeah.
dream really like really kind of shook me a little bit. And then I was like, and then I started to see things about him in the media and social media and stuff like that. And I feel something for him. I'm just like, oh, dude, like this is not, like I don't know, like I would feel like a brother or, someone that I was close to or something. I'm just like, man, but I know him, so it's just so bizarre. But I do feel like a compassion and like a worry, like I'm worried, you
Mm,
know?
yeah.
How bizarre. And him being 11 in the dream, like that in itself, there's a reason why in Stranger Things her name was 11, because that 11 that's a master number, but that is the master number that is like the spiritual messenger. And so all of the things that she was doing in that show is what the 11 energy is capable of and what they do. Very powerful spiritual beings, but it is a messenger energy. So I've had people before come to me and go, "Oh, I dreamt about this," or if I'm working with someone and they're connecting to an 11-year-old, I'm like, that 11-year-old has got something to tell you. This is not just you're not just randomly connecting to an 11-year-old. Do you know what I mean? Like some people will connect to a 4-year-old and that's just the age of the child at the time. But when someone connects to an 11-year-old or a 22-year-old, I'm like, there's something in this. There's something in this, more than just needing to be with them. Oh, fascinating. Well, thank you for that. I'm going to sit
Yeah.
with that and what the heck.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, in
absolutely.
terms of dreams and stuff, I'm a mum, so my sleep is very fragmented and like, um, it doesn't necessarily go deep because I'm still breastfeeding and co-sleeping, and that's what the bodies do. You know, they keep us at a like when you're breastfeeding, it's crazy because people will be like, you can't sleep with your baby because you're going to roll over on your baby. But when you're breastfeeding, doing that, your body will naturally produce a very small amount of cortisol, which keeps you at a state of, awareness so that you won't do that. So how mothers can hear their babies crying from so I don't dream and get into that dream state very often, but I do, I don't know, just get random things throughout the day all the time.
Daydreams.
Yes, yes. So anyway,
Yeah.
thank you for
So mindful of the time, so you have to go. So, Sarah, did you have any other questions
Oh, I could talk all
or
day.
wrap up?
So where how are we doing, Georgina, with your time? I'm
Oh, great. I can go for probably another 10, what is it? 10, 20. Yeah, I could go for about another 10 minutes.
okay, cool. So we'll try to wrap up. Had so many good things. We're gonna have to have you back on, I think, is the end of the matter. Because we've had the intro to the numerology, then we need to like really get into like the meat with
Yeah.
the dreams and everything. Um,
Yeah.
I think I kind of want to ask. I'm gonna take it back to the 200,000 because that
Yes.
was the number that
Sure.
had come through.
Uh-huh.
Is it also possible that five, like the number of zeros meant something? Like can the number five be coming through the number of zeros, possibly?
So it would come through in the way of the level of magnification.
Okay, so like five times the amount of energy that a normal two would have?
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's what's coming through for that specifically. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. So for me, the way that doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, that two energy is now on 5 times the amount of steroids. You know what I mean? But for me, those zeros are actually coming through like spotlights. And so it's very much wanting to highlight the two energy there. It's like, don't look anywhere else. There's something about this over here. You know what I mean? Like this.
Mm.
And then obviously the 3% is something as well, obviously, because that's a significant number that's being exchanged in that dream. But it's like that two energy. Let's look at that like that. There is a spotlight over that energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. I like it.
Yeah. So I feel like that dream could, like for you is actually layered where I feel like there is some like actual validity in the events of that dream and what we spoke about with the potential assassination and all this kind of stuff. But I think because of the magnification with those zeros, I think that two energy could also be representative in places in your life as well. Like, where are you also perhaps being given something or receiving something along the lines of love, connection in your partnerships, in your relationships, whether it's family, friends, intimate, where it's actually conditional, and it may also be highlighting your own relationship with yourself, where maybe you have some conditional love, within yourself as well. And wanting to highlight that so that you can actually, the 3 energy, like that wants to come through for you. And the 5 is freedom. So let's free yourself from these love constraints so that the 3 energy can just fully express. It's a very high frequency. So 2 energies, this is a high within the human numbers, the 1 to 9, the 2 and the 3s are absolutely the 2 highest frequencies of the 1 to 9. Obviously the 2, this vibrates at the frequency of love. So that's pretty high. And I used to think love, that's the highest frequency, right? That makes sense. But recently I learned that actually the frequency of truth and authenticity, aka 3 energy, vibrates at a frequency that's at least 400 times higher than love.
Amazing.
Yeah, isn't it wild? And we're halfway between 2020 and 2030. And so as we get closer and closer to 2030, that 3 energy, that's why a lot of truth is coming out and being brought to the surface. We're in March, which is the 3 energy month, so lots of things are being brought to the surface in a truth, like truth is being told and people are reaching for it, so 2030 is going to be a big, like it's already, the process of that is already happening. It's also consciousness. 3 energy is consciousness, right? And so I think the big reckoning or the remember I said how the 5 energy is always used to divide and conquer. We want people to take one extreme side or the other, but this, because of that 3 energy and the level of consciousness that human beings will be accessing just by virtue of being in 2030, 2 of the highest human frequencies, this AI level consciousness, there's going to be a very clear split. You're either going to go all AI transhuman, or not. And it's going to be a very, I think, difficult decision because of the things that will mean in your life and your lifestyle and things you won't have access to, and you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, interesting. And we're being set up for that now in a lot of ways. So anyway.
Yeah.
Tangents, constant tangents.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Biljana, is there anything on your agenda, your heart, that you want to cover in our last few minutes with Georgina?
I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, because it's been such a great chat, and we don't care that you were talking a lot, because that's all part of it. We want you to be yourself and share as much as you want to share. So I was going to ask about, we can talk about this off air, but about the four in Dream Oracle for you. Like, why did Sarah like pick the four to put in the name, the podcast name? But yeah, I was quite curious about that. So
Well, well, one of the first
you
things
don't
I
have to
noticed.
answer it. It's all right.
Oh, no, it's so great. But very quickly, the four, well, that is a very foundational, physical, physically, resourcefully, practically supportive energy. So it's like I'm going to facilitate the physicalness, bringing this to the physical. The U is a three energy. So again, you have that 4-3, which is seven combination. Which is the gateway. Yeah. So this is the
Yeah, cool.
physical modality that you are delivering the channel and the information, the seven energy,
Beautiful.
Yeah, cool.
for you is
Yeah,
literally for you.
yes. And for those that like want to get in touch with you, yeah, just give us a quick rundown of how they can get onto you and what you offer.
Yes, I'm so excited. So so georginagrace.net. That's my website, and I'm in the process of redoing that whole website. But anyway, georginagrace.net/numerology. If you want to specifically just look at my numerology stuff, I do readings for people. So I do full readings at 2 hour long, all recorded. You get it all afterwards. And I also teach it, which is my biggest passion. Teaching it. So my next numerology course starts on the 12th of April, which is a Saturday morning here and a Friday evening in the US. So I'm super excited because it's a US friendly time. So that's when the next course is starting. And yeah, you can basically find everything about me through my website. I do have a podcast called the Real Lies podcast. That's on all of the major podcast places. And either at Law of Numbers on Instagram or Georgina Grace. Either of those will find me. I'm also on Telegram. You just look up Georgina Grace. I'm there. I'm everywhere. So yeah. Thank you both so much, so much for having me on. I've absolutely loved this. Any opportunity to nerd out about numbers is like 100% I'm there. And thank you for letting me just talk at a very fast pace for a very long time. Thank you very much for that opportunity. I really appreciate it. I love being on here. It was so much fun. You're both great hosts. You ask great questions and just have so much love for you all. Thank you.
Oh, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
Thank you
Georgina.
very much.
And I hope you will accept our invitation to come on at a later date as
Oh,
well.
100%.
Okay, great.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we'll give you some questions beforehand so we can have some detailed numerology questions. And I guess I'll put that out for our listeners. First, thank you to our listeners for sticking with us and for this whole episode. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. And if you have anything you want to know about numerology, you can reach out to Georgina directly or, check us out on our website, let us know, and we'll facilitate another interview with Georgina so we could have those questions answered.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great
Perfect.
idea.
So thank you so much again, Georgina, for being here. Thank you to all of our listeners. We love you all. And as always, everyone, please keep on dreaming.